Is there any level of depravity that today's political candidates won't stoop to just to get a reaction online? When you see someone mock a man who literally bled for his country, you have to ask yourself, what kind of person does that, and more importantly, why are they seeking a seat in the United States Senate? Before we continue, if you want to stay on top of everything happening in US politics, hit that subscribe button right now and leave a like. It really helps this channel grow, and it keeps you informed on the stories the mainstream media might try to bury. The story centers on Maine Democratic Senate candidate Graham Platner. It recently came to light that Platner, under the alias P. Hustle, posted a truly vile reaction to a helmet cam video of U.S. Army veteran Teddy Daniels. In that footage, Daniels is seen being shot 4 times during a 2012 battle with Taliban fighters. Platner's response? He wrote that the veteran didn't deserve to live, called him a derogatory name, and mocked his survival as a stroke of poor marksmanship by the enemy. But it didn't end there. Platner also targeted the late American sniper, Chris Kyle, baselessly suggesting the legendary SEAL killed civilians to pad his numbers. When confronted by the media about these disgusting remarks, Platner refused to apologize, instead leaning heavily on his struggles with PTSD as a justification for his past behavior. However, Teddy Daniels isn't buying it. In a blistering response, the Purple Heart recipient made it clear that he isn't even looking for an apology. Daniels told the press that he doesn't respect the source of the comments, citing Platner's self-proclaimed communist views and his history of inflammatory rhetoric. Daniels didn't mince words, stating, "Some guys run towards gunfire, and other guys run toward keyboards, and I think that's a big difference." The analysis here is simple but profound. This isn't just about an old Reddit post or locker room talk, which is the excuse some of Platner's supporters are trying to use to defend him. Daniels, who has spent his life in the military and in high-stakes environments, pointed out that what Platner wrote is light years away from the crude humor soldiers share to cope with the horrors of war. What Platner did was malicious, premeditated, and, frankly, cowardly. The dangerous precedent here is the weaponization of mental health. By using PTSD as a crutch as Daniels put it to avoid taking responsibility for his actions, Platner is doing a disservice to every single veteran who actually struggles with the invisible wounds of war. It's an insult to the community he claims to understand but clearly disdains. When a candidate refuses to own their words, they show a fundamental lack of character. Accountability is the cornerstone of leadership, and if a candidate cannot admit when they were wrong, how can voters trust them with the power of a Senate seat? If Platner owes anyone an apology, it isn't just to Daniels. It is to the family of Chris Kyle and to his own constituents. But instead, we are seeing a pattern of behavior that suggests a deep-seated contempt for the values and the people that many Americans hold dear. Whether this sinks his campaign or his supporters continue to shrug it off as dark humor remains to be seen. But the contrast between the soldier who faced death and the candidate who hid behind a screen to mock him is stark, and it's a character test that most voters are taking very seriously. So, what do you think about this? Do you believe someone with a history of these kinds of comments is fit to represent the people in the Senate, or is the PTSD excuse something that should be taken seriously? Drop your opinion in the comments below. I read every single one. This is a defining moment for this campaign, and it proves once again that what you put out there on the internet has a way of coming back to haunt you. Whether or not Platner realizes it, his words have real-world consequences, and he's seeing them play out in real time. Stay tuned, because this story is far from over.